All right, we
I
are
think.
live. We are live. So come on in the room, everybody. We're in here a little early. We're going to have a family meeting first. Come
Look,
on.
look, look. Check it
Yes,
out.
awesome. What am I trying to do? I'm going to share this with my page. Go. Welcome. Hey, Battle. We have Lieutenant Colonel Fowles. He's one of my battles from when I was in the military. I think
Hello, everybody. How are y'all?
with my page.
You got me all fired up now. I'm ready to go.
All right, up. So we're going to get started, but I said I wanted to have a family meeting. And what I mean about that is that we're all growing as a family right now on this page. And if you know, if you watch, the purpose of this page is to create change. And when I think about that, I think about people coming together to support each other to create that change. So there was an incident that came up that I wanted to address. Somebody posted a comment under this event, and of course, I accept and I encourage comments. But if it's something negative, I'm going to ask you to elaborate, and then we can come to a resolution. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a little background, but I'm not going to go into the whole thing. If you are offended by any of my guests or what they have to say or who they are, first and foremost, you can go to them as adults. We are all adults here, and I am not these people's mother. They're grown women or men. So if you don't like them, go to them. Do not come to me. But if you come to me, I'm just telling you now, you're going to get the raw truth that comes out my mouth. And sometimes you're not going to like that. I am very nice. I'm very fair. I'm very equal. I'm very balanced, but you will not be disrespectful. So I'm just going to go over a few things. Like one, I think as for me, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, we have a different approach of communication. So, and a different approach at looking at things in life. So what I wanted to say first, and I say this even to the day when I'm managing, I would tell my employees, give me grace because you're going to need it the next day. Everybody's going to need some grace. Sometimes we don't say the right things. Sometimes we don't do the right things, but you guys sometimes know people's heart. So give people grace if you want to receive grace. The next thing I want to say, sometimes the groups that are out for the same mission can be each other's worst enemy. I'm trying to create a platform here that we all can come together for a common good. If you have something that I can support, I'm going to support you. I'm the ultimate cheerleader. Everybody that knows me, either they calling me Shamama because that's just who I am, or I'm just a cheerleader for the cause. So I'm going to support you. Again, you just got to respect people. I'm not the person that's going to allow you to disrespect me or disrespect people around me. That's just period. So next thing, when we're dealing with different situations on this page, especially with the demographic that we're dealing with some people that have trauma. So people that have trauma are not going to act or speak the way you think they should speak or act sometimes. And you got to give them room for that. If you think it is a real legitimate problem, what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're operating, get them the help they need. It's not going to change just what you talking behind their back, period. So that's a problem with you. If you just one of them people that just like to gossip behind the people's back and not do anything, that's a problem with me. So don't come to me with it. Also, what am I just about to say? Everybody is not going to be your cup of tea. I say that all the time. I'm not going to be your cup of tea. It's everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. We grown. I'm 42 years old. I know everybody ain't gonna like me with my moody, introverted self. Sometimes I understand that. I'm grown. I respect their personality and their choice, and you gonna respect mine. So if even if I'm not your cup of tea and you're not mine, I can respect you and still support you, knowing that you're doing something for the best or having a good cause. So that's what I want to end with. I know I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'm gonna get off my take my shamama hat off and put it over here. I'm gonna let Jessica, address the issue a little bit, and we're gonna go from there.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. So it's brought to my attention that at my first event that I did, that I may have possibly offended some women that were there. And first and foremost, I'd like to sincerely apologize. I had no intention of offending anybody, but I am going to tell you, I am a grown woman. My child was at the event, and my child knows the raw truth. She knows what happened to me. She knows why it happened to me. And I tell my child, me personally, because I want her to be aware for when she gets older, what to look out for, what to avoid, because God forbid, I do not want what happened to me to happen to my child or to any other child at that.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, I apologize if I offended anybody, but I'm not going to sugarcoat what happened to me, because if I can't come out with the truth, then I have no reason to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I speak, and that's why I push for change, because I feel women need to know the truth. Because I can't sit here and say, oh, well, it was this and it was, I can't do that. I can't, because me telling the truth helps me heal. And it also gives other women the courage and the strength to come forward as well. Because by me coming forward, by me speaking my story, other women have that strength as well.
Right.
So that's all I'm going to say on that issue. And if I did offend anybody, I'm sorry. If I didn't, I'm sorry still. But we're going to move on to the next issue.
All right. All right, with that being said, we're going to bring you up to date. Jessica has been busy. Everybody that watched the last, before part one, knew that she was doing, she spoke with the one of the Senate bills, and then that bill got passed to the House. So we're just going to I'm going to allow her to give you the updates on has been going on with her this week. Starting off, you have recently been given, what is it, Vanessa Guillen's 15/6 investigation report.
Yeah.
What stood out to you about that?
There was a lot that stuck out. For one, the biggest thing that stuck out to me was it stated in the 15/6 investigation itself that there was no documented contact between Aaron Robinson and Specialist Vanessa Guillen.
Mm.
And another thing that stuck out to me was Vanessa Guillen reported her assault not once but twice,
Wow.
and nobody helped her. Nobody even, like, the unit that Vanessa Guillen was a part of, they were not given the proper sharp training. And
Mm.
that in part failed her, because she did not know what other steps that she could take to better get it reported.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, and it made me angry, and I was furious just reading it. And I forced myself to read the entire thing, because it I literally felt like I was reading my own story.
Wow. Wow.
So it was hard,
I
but
bet. Yeah. You also had an interview this week. I know it had a little bit to do with the Vanessa Ian investigation, but also what else was that interview about?
it was basically talking about how I am an MST survivor myself. Um,
Hmm.
Miss Olivia, when she came into my home, she was asking me questions about what I experienced and how I feel legislative change is necessary. And me personally, I believe that in order to make a difference, we have to push for change. In order for us to push for change, we have to be willing to stand up and speak. We
Yeah.
can't just sit in the background and be silent. We have
Right.
to come forward with what we've seen, what we've experienced, because what we experience and what we come forward with, you never know, may save the next person's life.
Very true. Very true. And thank you for doing that again. Um, could you tell us about Camp Shield and your affiliation with that?
Okay, so I got the opportunity at the end of April to attend a retreat. It was called the She Thrives Retreat, and that retreat literally changed my life. I got to meet some of the most amazing female veterans there like I've ever met. And a lot of knowledge came out of this event that I would have never known.
Right.
Um, I found out that it's a little over 85% of females who are diagnosed or are diagnosed with adjustment disorder versus PTSD,
Wow.
regardless of the branch they're in. The VA is diagnosing them with adjustment disorder. They
Wow.
are not diagnosing these females who have been raped, who have been assaulted, harassed. They're not giving us a rating or a diagnosis for our military sexual trauma.
Wow.
And they're they're really trying to not acknowledge what we've seen, what we've experienced.
Mhm.
And with Camp Shield, it's ran, the founder is Maggie Peterson, and she's a 10-year Air Force veteran, amazing woman, super strong, and a fantastic, fantastic woman. And she's actually an MST survivor herself.
Mhm.
She has dealt with a lot in her career as well. And there is Karen Quills. She is a Marine veteran. She was one of the first females on a female engagement team for the Marine Corps.
Awesome.
She's a she has literally led a life of struggle until she joined the Marine Corps, and she made a difference.
Yeah.
And the entire staff of Camp Shield is ran by women, and it's an all women ran organization. The founder, like I said, is Maggie Peterson, and the co-founder is Melissa Smith, both females. And their whole goal is to help women physically, mentally, and socially so that we thrive after our military service. And
Awesome.
they are very dedicated to that. And I cannot stress enough how good and how powerful they are.
Awesome. And you do have another affiliation with them. What is that?
I have an event coming up on June 12th, and it's a unity walk in support of female veterans. And with this event, we are raising funds to help benefit Camp Shield, trying to raise the funds for it. And hopefully we can get enough supports going that way, we can do more projects and more events through Camp Shield.
Okay. And I will post that information in comments when I actually end this, but so you guys can go back and see the comments and see the information on how to get more information about this event and support it. So now we're going to do a quick recap of part one and then go on to
Yay!
so on part one, we talked about your experience at boot camp at Fort Jackson. Everybody remembers the P experience. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch that.
No.
And then you went over to AIT as a 92 Alpha, and then went off. Finished that training, and then you at the end told us you switched to PsyOps, and we are starting back up there. So let's start off on explain again to the people what PsyOps is, and then where did you go to PsyOps training at?
Well, for those that don't know, it's called psychological operations. PsyOps people actually, judge the psychological effects of the terrain around on the personnel. And the training is actually done at the JFK Special Warfare Center at Fort Bragg. And it's 14 weeks long. And then from there, we do 3 weeks in airborne school. And then after that, we do 5 months at language school. So it's a lot of training.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I would say that I liked there was I learned a lot, I experienced a lot, and I loved it a lot. But I would say what the hardest thing was learning the language.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Texas girl here. So, no, I don't got that whole native dialect going on. But what makes it, what makes it difficult is you got to learn it just right. And even though, I still understand it, I ain't even going to try to speak it no more.
So tell me about your experience in more details. What were some of the things that you may have hated about it, loved about it? What were your hard experiences? What if it was easy for you, or what things really stuck out about that whole experience in itself?
Well, the training itself was quite interesting. I learned a lot about myself, about what I can physically handle, because the training not only challenged you physically, but it challenged you mentally as well. Because you can't go through the training and just mentally break down.
Right.
Because mentally breaking down, it's not good, especially when you're going through the training.
Mm-hmm.
But what I enjoyed the most was when I got to go to language school.
Yeah.
And the language school I went to was out in Monterey, California.
Okay.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was in paradise, and I loved every minute of it. But after I got out of language school and I got to my first duty station, I kid you not, I was there 2 weeks. I was going through, getting, when you get to your first duty station, you go through, you got to check the box, do these briefings and everything. Then my sergeant comes through. He goes, "Private Langford, I need you to come here." Okay, cool. I'm like, maybe I feel important today. He takes me. He's like, "We got to go to CIF." I was like, "Sergeant, I already got my TA-50." He goes, "No, you're deploying to Iraq." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, we got to go get you geared up, and we got to get your vaccinations up to date. We got to get everything done." Within 2 weeks of me being in Germany, I was headed to Iraq.
Oh, wow.
When I tell you I was scared, I was scared. Like, I was terrified. And
Wow.
what made it so bad was I thought I was gonna die. Like, I've never been in war.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. Like, when you hear that first bullet flying by your head, you just like, what the heck is going on? And it was crazy, but I'll never forget it. And that first deployment is what made me and changed my life, because after that, deployments were like this. Easy.
Really?
I mean, easy to me, but it might be difficult to somebody else. But going down, doing what I had to do, I took care of business, and I did, what was best to be done.
Okay, we're going to get back to your first deployment. So, how did you get to Germany? And then you said from Germany you went to Iraq.
Yes,
So,
after I left out of language school, I got a chance to go home and do the hometown recruiting program, but I turned it down because I didn't want to go home. Because I knew if I went home, I would want to stay home, and I just didn't want to do that. So those of us that opted out of doing the hometown recruiting, we got sent to our first duty station. Most of them got sent back to Fort Bragg as their first assignment. I chose to go overseas. I was like, I joined the military to go overseas. I didn't. Let me rephrase this. I joined the military to go to Europe, not to Iraq.
Right.
And I never expected that I would land in Iraq immediately.
Right.
But when we flew over there, and the duty station that I went to, okay, so being in Dexon, it was beautiful because we got there, and when I tell you, I never, ever, ever experienced as much snow as deck time got that day.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I landed there in Europe, when I first got to Frankfurt, because that's the airport we flew into, I'm parched. I'm dying of thirst. And I'm coming through the airport. I don't understand a lick of German. I don't know what's going on. I can't understand what these people are telling me. I can't read these signs. I don't know anything. And I felt retarded. So we're going through, having a good old time. And next thing I see a station where I can purchase a bottle of water. I'm like, okay, water. And I'm thinking American water. I pop that bottle of water. I'm just holding it like I just won a championship. And then I take a drink and I go, spit that water all over the place. And the Germans are just looking at me like,
Right.
crazy. It was spritze water, basically bubble water, like
Yeah.
the carbonated water.
Uh-huh.
That's like a delicacy over there in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this stuff is nasty. This stuff was disgusting.
Right.
So they got the sergeant that was picking us up from the airport. They came, they got us, helped us get our bags and everything. Asked us how our flight was. I was like, long, long, very, very long. I literally, before I even joined the military, I'd never been on an airplane, ever.
Oh.
And when I tell you I was terrified of flying, I was scared beyond my mind. When I took off, I was like this, like shaking.
Oh,
But when I
wow.
first took off to go to basic training, and then my retarded butt jumps out of planes. So I go from being terrified to jumping out of planes.
Right.
Makes no sense, right? Perfectly good airplane. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can be like the Air Force and gain my wings.
Yeah.
So, but we got over there. It went from one day when I first landed in Europe, there was no snow whatsoever. Okay. The next day, there was almost 6 to 8 inches of snow on the ground.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right. Right.
Before the end of the week, before the first week of me being there, they done got up to 15 inches of snow.
Wow.
And it was the worst snowstorm that Europe's seen in 10 years.
Wow.
So of
Perfect.
course, when my sergeant told me I was going to Iraq, I'm like, is there snow there? He goes, no, it's hot. I was like, let's go. I got this. So,
Right.
it was a welcome warmth. But
Right.
when we flew out to head down range, we stopped in Kuwait because, anybody that goes to go to Iraq, the first stop point over is in Kuwait. And then you go from there into Baghdad, Iraq. So when we got into Kuwait, and I'm sitting here like, when we're getting out of we're walking onto the tarmac. Shamala, when I tell you it was hot, you see that heat rising up off the ground. I'm
Wow.
like, I'm walking out and like I'm already starting to pour in sweat. That's how
Right.
hot it was. But I'm like, hey, I'd rather be burning up hot than freezing my butt off.
That's how I hate cold. Oh, I hate being cold.
It was well worth it though. It was a good time. I had fun.
So in that 2 weeks, did you get to experience anything else?
And the 2 weeks that I was actually there, no.
Yeah.
only thing I kept thinking about was my ass about to get shot. That's all I could keep thinking about is I'm about to get shot in Iraq.
Wow.
I got to notify my family that I was getting ready to deploy the whole 9 yards. Of
Mhm.
course my dad was kind of, he was worried. He's like, he told me, he goes, my baby's going down range. I'm like, yes, sir. I don't know where I'm going yet. I can't tell you, the whole OPSEC. But he told me, he goes, your sister's deploying too, right?
Oh.
Like, no, I wasn't aware of that. So my first tour, my sister was on her second tour, and we
Oh.
were both deployed to Iraq at the same time.
Oh, were you able to see her at all?
Now, because she was in Tikrit and we deployed into Fallujah.
Okay.
So, but she knew where I was, and it was crazy because she was with the 716th Military Police Battalion, and
Okay.
but she was stationed out of the States.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it kind of, when she found out I joined and I chose to do active duty over National Guard, she goes, "Why would you do that? Why would you do that?" I was like, "I figured if I'm going to join, I'm going to do it full time, not part time."
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's a good time though. I
Oh.
enjoyed having.
So when you were in, now you're stationed in Iraq. So how was that experience? When you get there, walk us through your experience there from the time you get there.
Well, when I first get there, my first thought was, "Dang, there's a lot of sand." And I was there maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, and we're getting set in, starting to run missions. And this is my first time I run across a camel spider. And I come across and I come out and there's a group of guys, gathered in a little circle in front of the tent. And I was just like, what the heck are these people doing? I go and look, they are fighting camel spiders and scorpions. I'm like, and the guy's like, and I asked him, I was like, what the hell is that? Pointing to the spider. He goes, oh, it's a camel spider. I'm like, man, that ain't no spider. I was like, that's a monster.
Right.
He goes, no, just watch. That spider come out and got that scorpion and literally picked it up, stung it, and threw it down. I'm like, what? I was like, I told you that's a monster. That ain't no spider. He
Right.
goes, he looked at me. He goes, welcome to Iraq.
Right.
I'm
I'm
like,
afraid.
this ain't cool. And
He
then
is traumatized because of those spiders.
I was, and to this day, anytime I see like a wolf spider, man, I
Mhm.
shoot that thing right at the house. I was like, your family's in Iraq. You need to go.
Right.
I was like, you
You
need to go. You need to go. I was like, this is not your home. You need to go back to Iraq and live with your other family of spiders over there. And I was scared. And every night when I come home, I take my boots off. And they trained us how to always shake your boots out. Well, there was this other guy deployed with me, and he thought, man, they're just playing, they're just trying to trick us. He goes to pour his boot out. A spider with a body about this big comes falling out of his boot. I was like, and you about to put that on? He goes, not no more. He instantly picked his feet up and started shaking his boots out like that. And to this day, I shake my boots out, I shake my shoes out, and I ain't even in the desert no more, and I still do it.
Right.
Hey, I'm not trying to have no spider in my feet. I'm good. I'm
Exactly.
no,
Exactly.
I'm good. I still be scared. And you gonna have me think about spiders tonight.
Dreaming about them.
Yeah. Hey, look, if I get upset, I'm gonna start running through the house like, oh my god, the spiders are gonna get me.
Oh, goodness. So what type of activities, what did you do over in Iraq?
The biggest question is, what didn't I do?
Oh, okay. Well, so what can you tell
But
us?
I can't really talk too much about what I did because of the
Okay.
missions I ran.
Okay.
But I can tell you that we did help a lot of people and we did go out of the wire a lot.
Hmm.
And I know one of the missions we did run was we helped install generators in some of the local villages to bring power to them, because that was basically the mission that we were trying to do, was to help these people out. Even
Hmm.
though it was at the initial beginning stages, or not the beginning for, the Iraq war, because they did the initial invasion in 2002, 2003. I
Hmm.
was still in school, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm young. I'm young, but we still had to have our support go out ahead of us and clear where we were going. And it wasn't the same as being in Afghanistan, because in Afghanistan it's more mountain terrain versus in Iraq it's more desert.
Okay.
And it's not. I would say I would choose Afghanistan any day over Iraq because of the temperature difference,
Okay.
and it doesn't smell as bad either. So,
Like, what was the temperature difference?
okay, so in northern Afghanistan you have more mountainous area. It's in northern Afghanistan as in eastern Afghanistan as well. You have more mountains
Hmm.
versus in Iraq, temperatures got all the way up to like 130 degrees sometimes,
Hmm.
130, 135 degrees. And it's literally you're in 45 pound gear plus a 75-pound rucksack on top of all the other stuff that you're wearing, carrying your weapon, carrying your sidearms, doing foot patrols. My first tour, I probably lost 25 to 30 pounds.
Ooh.
And I
Like,
came back.
to give us a, like, from what to what, so we can understand what that means.
Okay, so when I got out of school training, I weighed exactly 170.
Uh-huh.
By the time I got back from Iraq, I was roughly about 155, 160, but I was more muscle
Hmm.
because, and I looked like a raccoon when I came back because, I constantly wore my Oakleys because it's so sunny, and, I have naturally green eyes,
Hmm.
and the sun affects my eyes a lot different than it does normal people. So my eyes were like this. All right here around my eye was white from my shades everywhere, and I even had a white line here from my
Uh-huh.
shade. I got laughed at so many times when I came home the first time. It was hilarious to people, and I'm just like, man, y'all mean. I was like, y'all go over there and deal with that sun. That sun baked us. So it's a good time.
So,
Yeah.
it's in,
So,
but
anybody that wants a free tan, just go to Iraq. We got you.
anything that stuck out to you, anything that you want to say, because this is about time we're going to wrap this segment up. Anything that stuck out to you or you want to tell the viewers?
One of the things that kind of I would say affected me the most from my first tour was a young soldier actually committed suicide 3 months into the tour.
Oh, wow.
And the reason he took his life, he left a letter, and he got a Dear Jane letter while he was overseas. He was 23 years old, and his wife left him and took everything.
Oh, wow.
And uh, um, his wife left him, took everything he had, and when she took everything, she took his daughter, took his money, took everything.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I felt really bad for him because he was a good kid, and he was a battle buddy of mine. I
Right.
was 18 at the time when I was over there, and it kind of affected me because I'm like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
But I was single,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah. But
Wow.
but yep.
We're going to wrap this portion up, but could you tell all the people that want to get in touch with you where to contact you at if they need to say anything to you?
If anybody, and I stress anybody, has anything to say, anything to ask me, any questions to know, you can contact me, and I will have Shamila leave my Facebook information in the comments. If you have anything you need to say, anything you want to basically get knowledge about, feel free to contact me. I'm an open book. I have no problems talking. All I ask is if I offend you, please come to me as I would come to you. Just, we're all adults here, and all criticism to me is constructive criticism. It does not affect me, but it does make me stronger. So I'm willing to listen to any comments, whether they're good or bad. It doesn't affect me because I'm still going to be stronger in the end.
And I'm going to add on to that. Just be respectful. I'm just
That's all
saying.
I have.
We all
Come to me. You would expect me to come to you.
exactly. We all have room to change it and be better and become a better version of ourselves, but come to us respectful. That's all. All right. We
Exactly.
sign off on that. We will be, oh, any other call to actions? Are you going to be going or speaking anywhere anytime soon that you want people to?
The biggest thing that I like I said, the biggest event I have coming up is next month. We will make sure we'll leave the link to the event in the comments below. And I have 10 days, ladies, 10 days, and gentlemen, by the way, to sell as many t-shirts as possible. And I'm making a challenge to anybody that is willing to accept it. There will be raffle items at the event. The person who can refer the most people to purchase a t-shirt, I will purchase 5 raffle tickets in their honor from Camp Shield. So that's my challenge, is the one person who can get the most people to purchase a shirt before the 10-day deadline is up. I will purchase 5 raffle tickets in y'all's honor for an item that Camp Shield is raffling off. And we are raffling off well, it's not we, but we are trying to come up with a pretty decent raffle to help benefit Camp Shield. So anybody want to accept the challenge? It's on 10 days, everybody. 10 days.
All right, awesome. So with that being said, we're going to sign off. Thank you for you guys, beautiful people, posting and watching and supporting. We're growing this together, and I love y'all, and we will see y'all the next time. All right, bye.